Hi and welcome to my home with my lovely daughter Laura behind the camera. And what I'm going to be doing is, this is the first of Challenge Gary, and each week I'm going to be doing a really simple, quick and easy dish based on ingredients that you guys have nominated. So I'll be doing one every week, so if you want to nominate for next week's recipe, let me know. The ingredients for our first nomination was, strangely enough, aubergine. So I think aubergine's one of those ingredients that people kind of walk past in the supermarket and kind of wonder what to do with. So hopefully today we're going to demystify that. Peppers was another one that came up a lot. It's the kind of thing you have to buy in three, use one, the other two are stuck in the fridge and you kind of don't know what to do with them. Really versatile, really easy to work with. So we'll be doing some of that. And then we've got some store cupboard stuff, mixed beans. My cupboard is full of these and I absolutely love them. So we're going to be doing some quick and easy dishes with that. But I think the real star of the show this week, I've chosen an amazing cut of lamb. So this is jigget of lamb. It's Scotch and it's PGI, and it's a really versatile, amazing cut. It's from the leg, and it kind of reminds me a wee bit of the kind of Tom and Jerry cartoons, because that's always the steak that the dog's always got. But the first thing I want to do with it is I'm going to marinate it. And again, just really simple, bit of thyme, bit of garlic. I normally marinate in plastic bags if I'm doing that. And ideally you want to do that the night before. And there's loads and loads of sort of concoctions, marinades that you can do, but I try and keep it quite simple, because something that is as good as that doesn't actually need too much work. It doesn't really need lemon or anything like that. So I'm just going to pop in a little bit of oil, a little bit of garlic and some thyme. I think the sort of mysterious ingredient today for a lot of people is aubergine. And the first thing I thought about when I heard that aubergine was nominated was a dish called caponata. Really simple stew. It's almost like a sweet and sour, so big flavour. It's also something that you can add other things to. So I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to that, some courgette, and it's traditionally got quite a lot of celery in it. But all of this stuff is easily picked up. So the first thing I'm going to get started on is our caponata. We want to take our aubergine and we're going to cut that into kind of manageable sizes. So I'm going to start just filling up my pot. Next thing I want to do is just take some celery. And I always think it's important to peel celery. I don't like celery string. You know, and a lot of amazing butchers are now kind of focusing on, you know, home cooks and home cooking. And they've kind of developed their businesses into you know, a lot of home delivery and stuff, so you can get really high-end quality cuts of meat that arguably a few months ago you might struggle to find or wonder where it is, but you only have to look at social media to see, you know, the amount of local butchers that are out there feeding the nation. I'm going to move on to peppers. There's a lot of different ways of cutting peppers. I've seen people cut them in various ways. I always top and tail. So we're going to use half of each for the caponata. Do you like aubergine, Laura?
I've never even tried it.
You've not tried aubergine? Right, so here's your chance. I think you have tried it, I might not have told you. And then about half a red onion, I would say, or white onion if you've got it, it won't really matter. So nice and fine. And the last ingredient we're going to add is some chopped courgette. Again, same size, nice and small. So we're going to let that cook down. This is probably going to be about 10 minutes. Just going to let that stew down, get all the vegetables intertwined, and before we start adding in the next of our ingredients. So mixed beans. So I'm using canned. The only thing you have to do with canned beans is just give them a rinse. So to that I'm going to add peppers. That was one of the other nominated ingredients. I'm looking for a proper challenge, so for next week's, let's see what people have got lurking in their cupboards and see if we can maybe get some stuff out of those cupboards that have been there a wee while. So we're going to add our chopped peppers to the beans. To that I'm going to add a little bit of red onion. I'm going to put some garlic in there as well. So to the beans I'm going to add some coriander. So nice fresh coriander. The good thing is with coriander you can use the whole lot, you use the stalk and the leaf. Pop that in. And then we're going to take a little bit of garlic. I always like just to grate garlic in. Get it nice and fine and maximises the flavour. Another little hack is that smell of garlic in your hands. The secret of getting rid of that smell is to wash your hands in cold water. And what that does is it gets rid of the garlic oil. Most people probably just turn straight to the hot water tap, opens up the pores of the skin. The garlic oil goes in and you're stuck with it. So we've got our beans, we've got our peppers, garlic, a little bit of coriander, some red onion. To that I'm going to add a little tub of Greek yogurt, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of salt, a few tons of pepper, you get really simple, delicious. So we're at the next stage with the caponata. So what I want to do now is I want to add the almonds that I had in the cupboard that replaced the pine nuts, a little bit of sugar, some raisins that I had in the cupboard. To that I want to add a couple of chopped tomatoes. Okay, I'm just going to put the whole lot in, just skins, seeds, the lot. So I mentioned at the start this was a kind of sweet and sour. So we've got the dried fruit, we've got the sweetness of the peppers, there's a little bit of sugar put in there. The sourness that we need is vinegar. And again, I think traditionally the vinegar would be red wine vinegar. But I didn't have any red wine vinegar, so I've substituted with some sherry vinegar. Very nice sherry vinegar at that. But we're going to give that about another 10 minutes just to cook down. Just want to give that just a little. Just a little bit of salt. Maybe just another touch of vinegar. But when it comes to seasoning, it's up to you, but I'm really pleased with that. So the last thing we need for that is I've got a little bit of fresh basil. I just want to shred that. Nice and fine. Just going through it once, I don't want to chop it, and just pop that in. A little stir. And that is our caponata ready. You may have noticed I've got a nice big frying pan on the stove, and what I want to do with that is to get that roasting hot. I've taken the lamb out of the marinade bag, and I've just picked off, I'm making sure I'm picking off the sliced garlic. I'm not too worried about the thyme will go back in. So I'm going to pop in a little bit of oil. Make sure we've got a nice nice hot pan. As I say, this is PGI Scotch lamb from local butcher who's now doing deliveries, which is amazing. And jigget can be slow cooked, so kind of braised. Again, I love it long and slow. I actually do it in beer and onions. It makes an amazing dish. But this way, I'm going to do it. Just cook it like you would a sirloin steak or a ribeye steak. You know, loads of great fat. It's that lovely cut. So there's lots of different muscles that come through the leg. And I think it's really important to try and get that balanced diet, especially now. You know, it's getting the right amount of nutrients for your body. So you'll notice I've not sugared, I've not moved, I've not checked. I just want to get as much heat into the lamb as possible. We want to try and seal that, get loads and loads and loads of colour, because when you get colour in there, you get flavour, and that's what we're trying to get. I'm going to pop a little bits of thyme in there, waste not, want not, because that will add to flavour as well. This kind of cut here would work quite traditionally with the sort of stuff that you would normally have with that steak. You know, it works really well. Really nice simple vegetables, onion gravy, getting all that sort of magic that you would get from a Sunday roast in a really quick and simple cut. I'm going to pop that over. Again, we're just going to leave it on that side. So this kind of cut, when you're cooking it fast, you want to try and keep it kind of medium rare or medium. I would just call it pink. I think it's somewhere in between. But when I'm cooking lamb, a kind of rump or any of these kind of lamb steaks, I take them a wee bit further than probably take a bit of beef, you know, a bit of ribeye or sirloin, just ever so slightly. I think for me anyway, I think that beautiful lush pink colour, you know, an even nice pink colour is where we are. We don't want it too red. But the smell is incredible. You get hungry, Laura? So to that, I'm going to be really chefy here and add a little bit of butter. And the idea of the butter going into anything at this stage here is really just to enrich and create moisture. So the high heat stuff we've accomplished, and what we're doing now with the butter is we're lifting all that residue from the bottom of the pan, which we're then going to baste back into the cut, and that's it off. So the next stage here is really, really important. It's called resting. So even though it's not a big joint of meat, it still needs resting. So we want to let everything settle down there. I'm going to continue to baste, and you know, it's not about keeping moisture, it's about keeping flavour in here, all that flavour. So I'll continually baste it, and we'll probably let that kind of rest, probably for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll be ready for plate up. So our lamb's been rested, looking absolutely fantastic. We've got a caponata, we've got our bean salad, and it's time to enjoy. And I think both the caponata and the bean salad will go fantastically well with that amazing Scotch lamb. Really simple, really quick, amazing quality Scotch lamb. And that's all from me and Laura and the Scotch Kitchen. So if you want to nominate what's lurking in your cupboards or your fridges, get onto Scotch Kitchen Instagram account, Twitter or Facebook, and I'll see you next week for more of the same.